Brave heroes change the game every year, and this year is no exception. These units are nuts, and I'm going to try to read all of this, and it's going to be hard. So let's just jump right in, because, I mean, we need to. We've got Faye. She's still on a beach. She has not left the beach for weeks. I'm jealous. Anyway. All right, let's just move right on into the skills here, because that's what we really want to see. Corrin looks phenomenal. The art this year is just amazing. I love it. What do you say? So, what do her skills do? Because, so this is Colorless Dragon, and you'll notice right off the bat we have Armored Flow, which is amazing. We have Vala Stone. Accelerate special trigger cooldown count -1 after unit acts. This is very important because this is a whole range of different effects that we're going to start seeing. Terrain is back, and we're adding in terrain to your Fae map. Divine Vein Stone applies Divine Vein Stone to unit space and spaces within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. We'll see a map of that in just a second. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, inflicts Omni -5 on foe, neutralizes effects that guarantee foes' follow-up attacks, and effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks. So you've got no follow-up. And reduces damage from attacks by 30% during combat. So that's our first layer of damage reduction. Then we've got adaptive damage. Divine Vein Stone applies the following effects on space for unit and allies. Grants defense res +6 during combat. Reduces damage from foes' specials by 10. That's important. So now we've got flat damage reduction. And reduces damage from area of effect specials by 50%. Divine Vein effects do not stack. Replaces any existing Divine Vein effect. And Divine Vein effects applied simultaneously cancel each other out. Does not count as defensive terrain. As more of these come out, you're going to have to watch out for which ones are active and trying not to cancel those, because that stacking thing is very important. We'll go over some future Divine Vein effects as well as we go on. This is going to be a premier Far Savior. She is a fast Far Savior. She is... There it was, the stats. Let's go back just a hair. And 46 speed, which is really good. And she's got a whole lot of skills that are going to help her with that. You already see she has the attack speed Far Save going on. We talked about the Armored Flow. I think this is going to be the best Far Savior in the game. We'll go over the rankings in just a second and where everyone else goes in with her. Let's just look at this though. The space that she has this Divine Vein Stone in that's helping with defense. And I mean, this is absolutely fantastic for any sort of tank, but in particular, for saviors, this helps just a ton, especially when you pair them near and Far Savior. So you can imagine another unit up there and that helping out. I would say that for her, I would rather this be grants some sort of speed +6, and that would help her out a ton. With speedy Far Saviors, you need as much as you absolutely can. It is intense. Okay, so she's talking about the, we're gonna have to get used to seeing the different icons now and what they mean. So, good times. 0 damage. You're going to see that a lot with this unit. This unit is going to want to be used as an Omni tank in a lot of different modes, particularly like Light Season. It's going to be really key. Realms United, you've got DC. If foe initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than 75% at start of combat, inflicts Omni -7 on foe and reduces damage from foe's first attack by 7. So it's an additional flat damage piece though. All this is not on specials. For standard attacks, first attack means only the first strike. For effects that grant unit attacks twice, it means first and second strikes. So this is going to hit on both of the Catria Ball hits that you're going to receive, because it's really hard to stop Catria Balls nowadays. Absolutely fantastic. This unit is the least creative of all of the other units, but I'm a really big fan. So we've got Counter Roar 4. There is a big debate over whether this is like a dragon specific skill or an armor specific skill. I think either way it's going to be probably limited in that realm. So inflicts attack speed -4 on foe. That's great. We need all the speed we can get. Reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 30%. There's another layer of damage reduction. For standard attacks, first attack means, okay, we went over that before, and unit's next attack deals damage equals 30% of foe's attack damage prior to reduction. So that is basically Ice Mirror. It's that same effect that's going on. And then restores 7 HP to unit after combat. There are a lot of things going on to help this unit. Many layers of damage reduction. Now we've got restorative HP, more speed reduction. This unit is going to be very, very good. Did we need to know that? She's also got the boosted stats from the new gen, and I haven't checked, but I'm guessing she also has bonus stats. What do they call them? Not bonus stats, trainee stats. Thank you. That's we've got Soren. This is an interesting one, and I love how creative they're getting with these. Like we've got the new Dragon Vein effects. Now we've got Soren doing weird things. What he's going to do is create a savior effect. Accelerate special trigger. So we've got Slaying at start of turn grants Omni +6 and assign decoy to any support partner within 2 spaces of unit, or if unit is not on a team with unit support partner, to ally with highest defense within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants bonus 2 units attack speed, defense res during combat equals 5+ highest bonus on each stat between allies within 3 spaces of unit. We've seen this before. It's a good effect. It's not amazing. But anyway, and if unit's res is greater than foe's res, reduces damage from attacks during combat and from area of effect weapons by percentage. So it's the Dragon Wall thing, which we've seen before. Assign decoy is what's interesting here. And if foe's range equals unit's range, and foe initiates combat. So you've got we're going to see it here in a little bit. Actually, let's go over the actual example. I could explain it, but basically it's handing out savior. So we've given assign decoy to Ike. Ike is also a melee unit. The Lance Flyer comes in. Ike performs a savior role. But you notice this isn't so you can only choose one. Like basically Soren has to be your ranged tank, and then Ike will defend the unit from any melee attacks. That's neat. It's a good thing. I don't know how applicable this is going to be. I'm interested to see it in the wild. There are a lot of interesting things you could possibly do with this, but let's go on to some of the other effects here, or the other skills rather. All of these units have absolutely amazing skills that they have going on. Yes, we know, Faye. Rare talent. Now this is preference, so it's not inheritable. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants Omni +7 to unit and disables foe's effects that disables adaptive damage. Which is good because he has very high res, which you can see right there. Res of 47, defense of 16, which hurts my heart. That is very low and borderline unsalvageable. Yeah, so where were we? Also, the following effects will occur based on value of unit's res minus foe's res. If greater than or equal to 1, neutralizes effects that inflict special cooldown charge minus X, so that's that half tempo on you during combat. If greater than 10, and either foe's range equal 2 or unit initiates combat, unit attacks twice during combat. So yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, what can I say? I want to go back to this assigned decoy now that we've seen it. So remember that assigned decoy is not just Ike defending Soren. Ike is able to defend a lot of different units. So you are, in like Chaos Season, you are able to assign a near save to your team. It'll be the same with Summoner Duels, which is interesting. So you could run dual save and now, well, dual save in both SD and Chaos Season. In Chaos Season, it matters less. In Summoner Duels, it's just interesting because, I mean, obviously, it's interesting because there are a lot of things you can do with that. There are a lot of maps now that have both ranged and melee threats coming in. It makes units like Diamant more interesting because now you can have that melee specialist in your team. Just remember that Soren has to be able to deal a ton of damage in order to function. Basically, you'd be in a Catria ball for most of these types of teams. So understand that. It's still, I mean, this is a very, very neat skill, and I think a lot of folks are going to show us how this is done, and it's going to be interesting. I cannot tell how meta impactful this is. That's a hard one to guess right now. Flare. Inheritable. If units HP is greater than equal to 75% when special triggers, boost damage by 60% of foes' res. If units HP is less than 70% when special triggers, boost damage by 40% of foes' res, and restores 30% of units' maximum HP. I mean, this is powerful, but I'm not just in love with Flare. It's interesting. It's interesting to have another special. I'm happy to have that. I'm not in love with this. I was hoping to get more something piercing, something damage reduction. We have so many damaging specials that this is not amazing. But it is low cooldown, so yeah. I mean, what do you say? It's another special, which we love to have another one of those. It makes builds more creative. It makes things more creative. So there you go. Let's head to Gullveig though, and I love this art. They really did a bang up job with the colors. It really goes well. I love that she is in Sather's garb. Like that is. It's a great callback. They did a fantastic job with this. This is the shortest of the preference weapons. So keep in mind this is flying. She's a flying tome, flying blue tome. So we've got Canto, accelerates special trigger cooldown count -1. If unit initiates combat or bonus is active on unit, grants attack, or Omni +5 to unit, grants attack speed plus X to unit. X equals number of turns times 2, and max of 10. So max of turn 5, wow, that's a long way down. Deals damage equals 20% of unit speed. Fantastic. We've got true damage. We've got lots of attack and speed. On turn 5, you'd be getting 15 attack and speed, which is nice. Most of the time, you're going to be initiating on turn 2. That goes for Summoner Duels and AR. So, I mean, at turn 2, you'd have a +4, which is, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not just amazing. What really sets her apart is her other skills. I do really like I do really like this. Canto 1 is also in there. And I didn't get to the last part. Let's pause right there. When dealing damage with special trigger before, yeah. And neutralizes, so we've got no follow-up in there too. I won't bother reading it. I don't know why I was trying to be fancy there. I could have just said no follow-up. But you noticed that thing that popped up. Gold Unwinding. This is an exclusive B skill. Inflicts speed res -5 on foe during combat. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 50% and unit initiates combat, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 60%. We've talked about how valuable these things are. They are absolutely amazing. If unit initiates combat, grants another action to unit after combat and afflicts gravity on unit and pair up cohort. We've seen this with a ton of any ranged Gale Force unit. We pretty much see this where they can then only move one space. It's really fine. In today's meta, we're not too worried about that. So that's amazing. Yeah, we love it. Lots of snakes. They attack hell. Interesting. Why did they pick hell? Flared Sparrow. This is inheritable. If unit initiates combat, deals 7 flat damage to foe as combat begins. Effects that reduce damage during combat do not apply. Will not reduce foe's HP below 1. Grants attack speed +7 to unit during combat. And applies Divine Vein Flame on 5 spaces in a line centered on foe's space. Oriented left and right based on direction on the direction unit is facing for 1 turn of combat. Divine Vein Flame applies the following effects on space, acts as difficult terrain for foes with range 2, moving over this costs +1 movement. We've seen this before. Movement cannot exceed units maximum allowable. This is fantastic for hit and run units. Cannot be slowed by terrain effects, do not apply. That's interesting. At start of enemy phase, deals 7 damage to foe. And also, as combat begins, deals an additional 7 damage to foe. So you can see that like if they're stuck there and the enemy phase starts, then they'll deal 7 damage. If they go in and attack and they end on that space, it deals another 7 damage. Fantastic for chip damage, obviously. Whew. So, and will not reduce foes' HP to 0. It's a lot of these. We've seen these in the Fire Emblem games a ton, and we know how these work. Divine Vein effects do not stack. Replaces any existing Divine effect. Divine Vein effect. Divine Vein effects applied simultaneously cancel each other out. Yeah. What do you say to this? This is really, really powerful and probably wins the day for best fodder in this. I cannot tell you like how much in, look at that space. That's a huge amount of space. That is insane. And I want you to think about this in Summoner duels. I mean, in Aether Raids, it's amazing, but moving someone off of their space, making sure that if they stay there, they deal damage is kind of incredible. I will say this is not as good as it would have been last year. And the reason is warping is such a huge deal right now. And so warping, you're not going to worry about the movement restrictions. You're just going to go there. I don't even worry about tactics rooms anymore, which is crazy to think about. But I have so much warping on my teams that I just don't have to worry about them. This is an amazing A skill, though. I cannot say enough good things about this. And you notice, like, this gives it to other people as well. Like, that's, I don't know. Anyway, let's go over Corrin. Corrin's great, too. Love it. I mean, he looks great too. All of the art, they knocked the art out of the park. Yeah, I'm a fan. The purple looks fantastic. Yeah. Let's go over what this unit does. Actually, we saw stats there, didn't we? Yeah. Special outfit, we know. Oh, we didn't see him. We see him later. Anyway, I'll grab him. Delivers Brand. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants Omni +5 to unit, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 40%, and neutralizes. Don't go away. Stay. And and neutralizes effects that grant special. So we've got full tempo, which is fantastic. And also, if units max special cooldown count value is greater than 3, and unit's attack can trigger unit special, when unit special triggers, neutralizes reduced damage by X%. So that's a nice little special spiral type effect in there. And we'll see other special spiral type things here in just a second. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25% and unit triggers the glowing ember, bonfire, or Ignis special during combat, which, as you know, have always been associated with Corrin, calculates that attack damage using lower of defense and res. So it's adaptive, which is very nice versus nukes, is okay versus most tanks these days, because most tanks have a very balanced very balanced stat. Gambit 4, this is inheritable. Inflicts speed, defense -4 on foe during combat, and also if unit or foe's attack can trigger unit special, deals damage during combat equal unit's max special cooldown count -2 × 5. Min 0, max 15, excluding area of effect specials, and reduces damage from attacks during combat and from area of effect special by percentage equals max special cooldown count value times 10, max of 50%. That is very good for a nuke and will serve him well. This unit has a lot of nutty effects, and it's hard to place where this unit goes. We're going to go over that in just a second, where I placed him and all of that great stuff. I think we'll see stats right here. Finally. So you notice he's applying Rally Spectrum. We're about to go over what that means. But right there, 54 speed, I believe he had +6 on there. So, I mean, that's an insane amount of speed, though. Like, this unit is very, very fast. At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants Rally Spectrum to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit. Unit can move to a space adjacent to an ally with Rally Spectrum that is within 5 spaces of unit. To be very clear, that portion only applies to Robin. So keep that in mind. But 5 spaces is a huge amount of space. That is absolutely insane. Grants. So if you have Rally Spectrum, we didn't finish. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants Omni +3 to unit during combat. The amount of stats that these units are getting is absolutely insane. So, Rally Spectrum grants attack, speed, defense, res +5 to unit during combat, and if unit's attack can trigger unit special, grants special cooldown count -X to unit before unit's first attack during combat. Wow. So, X equals 1 if unit can trigger the unit's attack special. X equals 1 if unit can trigger the unit attacks twice effect, or if unit's max special cooldown count is reduced, special trigger is accelerated. Otherwise, X equals 2. That is a mouthful. And keep in mind, this is giving this out to folks. Like, all of these units that were within 2 spaces of this unit have this effect. Like, that's nutty. You get stats, you get special cooldown. What can I say to this? It's interesting giving brave units less cooldown than non-brave, but there are a lot of interesting support things you can do with this unit, specifically if you're talking about Gale Force. Man, Robin has flustered me and I can no longer talk. You can see the skill sets there with the attack speed finish. Man. I kind of wish this unit had been able to give warping to the other folks as well, but that probably would have made this just absolutely bonkers. Oh, so much reading. Okay. So the summoning event is in 2 days. Awesome, right? Amazing. You get a free 5-star and you get the 4 sparks as well. That's amazing. We love this. So yes, Faye, we know this. We get the free summoning event. Things are running out on CYL. We get Cyril. I love this. This is fantastic. He is perfect for that that GHB role here. Normally they're lower units that kind of rank up in the risings, and so this is fantastic, and I can't wait to see what he has. The Grand Hero Battle will come the day after the summoning event, so we'll have to see what he does there. But yeah, summoners, there's so much. Oh, we get increased flowers, and from the Forging Bonds event, you get, we know this is the same every year. From the Forging Bonds, you get 4,000 extra flowers, which God knows we need. Like, that is, yes, give me all the flowers. So keep in mind, if you want to plus 10 a unit for this banner, you only have to summon 9 copies. You get your free one, and you get to spark. That is an incredible value. If one of these is your favorites, at least go to that first spark. I cannot reiterate that enough. But you're looking at, for a plus 10, I mean, if you're Robin, you're 1,368 orbs. That's fantastic. If you're Soren, I mean, it's 1,184, which is fantastic. This is great. I'll post this so you guys can look at it later. What I really wanted to go over, though, is the strategy to plus 10 a Brave unit in a year, which is very viable. This is full free to play. These are all banners that you can spark as a free to play, and understand that if you are not, then you get an additional legendary banner that you can spark on as well. But you can see on your release, you're getting 2 copies, and I'm assuming that you get one along the way, which is 70% likelihood, depending on the unit. For Golden Week, you're picking up another one. For a rerun that is not guaranteed, but most likely will hit, you get another copy, and then you finish off on the next CYL, and you get it for about 725 orbs, which is fantastic. That is a great value for these units that will most likely be meta defining. I want you to think about last year's Braves and Seliph, Crom, Byleth, and I've completely blanked on the last one. But they're all still doing very well. These are great units. Oh, I know why I blanked on the last one. The last one's not doing so well. Tiki. I blocked that out. But yeah. Anyway, if you want to plus 10, the most efficient ways to do it over the year. If you're impatient, though, this banner has great value. Just know that these are in the standard pool, and you'll most likely be pity broken by them along the way. Let's talk about Corrin. Right off the bat, I have her as the top Far Savior, and you can see my rankings here. She took the reins from Tiki, and the reason is she has an additional layer of speed to protect her, which is phenomenal. I'm going to have a full Far Savior tier list, and you guys are going to see the new way I rank these, and I am really proud of it. But again, I think what they're more looking at her as is an Omni tank as opposed to a Far Savior, which is interesting to see this kind of development and to see these units go into that direction. In Light Season, there are so many times where you just can't use the save effect, and so you have to use this. Yeah, you have to use them as Omni tanks. A lot of the newer Saviors can do that, though, so that's kind of phenomenal. Yeah, I've got this one as a top one. I think this unit's phenomenal. Anyone who has watched the channel for any amount of time knows that I am a sucker for dragons. I love them. I want this unit very badly. Next, supports. First, we got to talk about Soren, and because I've got 2 supports in here. I've got him in tier 1. And I've got them on the lower end of tier 1. But know that neat units often find a niche as new things are uncovered throughout the year. And I don't think Soren's niche is unusable. We've seen that along the way. Think of Gatekeeper. And I know there are huge fans of Gatekeeper out there, but there's kind of a narrow band of places where you can use Gatekeeper. This is a unit that has some unique things about him, gives unique bonuses, and on top of that, also can hit hard. And so this unit has a lot of value. Don't think that tier 1 means that this unit doesn't. Like, I still like this unit. He's probably my least favorite in this, but that doesn't mean that he can't perform for you. And if he's your favorite, doesn't mean he's a bad unit. this is probably my most controversial one. This is a flying Gale Force unit, and I've got to tell you, I use Tana a lot, Flame Tana, or as I like to call her, Flame Peony. I use her a ton, and having a flying Gale Force or hit and run unit is invaluable, especially when you pair them with units like Hinoka. Giving him that extra range is amazing. To me, this moves into kind of the premier spot. We'll have to see how hard she hits. I think she will hit fairly hard, but I think she's a unit that will have the option to either go in and Gale Force or hit and run. I think she'll be powerful in both, honestly. The reason she takes over for Edelgard is because Edelgard is having trouble hitting hard enough. You're even needing crazy stuff like Sather in order to get her there, and that's only in one season that you can use that. So understand that. Ephraim, I was sleeping on. I have been proven wrong, is amazing. And if you haven't seen my Twitter post with OG Edelgard, AoE Edelgard, yeah. Let's talk just briefly about what's going on in the meta with Gale Force units, because honestly, everything is becoming bulkier. Everything. Even nukes right now. Think of Ymir, think of Asker. These units have a lot of bulk, and it's getting harder and harder to take them down. And so instead of actually putting Gale Force on your initiator, a lot of folks are opting for AoE instead. And honestly, I think it's the way you almost have to go as you go into the higher tiers. Definitely we have Bolt Tower available, but Bolt Tower is dependent on what it is definitely RNG based. It depends on where your Bolt Tower is versus where your team is. And you can make some good guesses, but I still think AoE is the face of Gale Force right now. Gale Force is looking more and more like hit and run, as in you take out a unit first turn, you come back, you then go in and finish off the team on turn 2. But anyway, understand that Gale Force in general can still function. There are tons of people who do it. I think Gullveig represents the face of what this has to be right now. I think she will be a phenomenal Gale Force initiator. Last but not least, we have Corrin. Last but not least, we have Robin. Robin is by far the most interesting unit of this whole batch. I think Gullveig we expected to see exactly what we got. Gullveig is not a surprise. Corrin is really strange, and there are a lot of things that can come into play, and I am anxious to see how he performs, honestly. I right now have him in tier 1. I think he has a higher ceiling than that, though, and could easily go into the meta tier. So understand that is coming, and Summoners, I cannot wait to see how this all goes. Real quick, though, before we leave, we need to talk about the most likely units, and this is something we do every year, and I think is just an absolute blast. So we've got... I don't know that there will be a top 5 worst of this batch. I like these units quite a bit. The closest thing might be Soren, because he has the lowest floor. That is not to say that this is a bad unit, but I think this unit has the possibility to make the least impact. But I think Corrin is the most likely to absolutely destroy your defense. I think she is phenomenal, and I can't wait to use her. I think Robin is the most likely to confuse your opponent, and you're going to have weird, I can just imagine in Summoner Duels or on Aether Aid's defense replays that you're watching, you'll see this unit just jump and do absolutely phenomenal things. I think Soren's the most likely to get an amazing refined and rebound that way, and then I think unfortunately, Gullveig is going to be the most likely to get foddered, because that A skill, wow. That is nuts. Summoners. If you're interested in more about the meta before they hit, I just put out a meta report. I'll be putting out an update that's special to these units in probably about a week and a half. I've got a lot of things going on, including a Far Savior tier list that I can't wait to put out. What can I say? I mean, thank you to all the members. You guys are amazing. If you liked the content and would like to see more, by all means, you can become a member. And take care. Schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon and get your reading glasses out for these.